about one more minute.
What happened?
Sorry. That's okay. All right.
Opened as a memorial cemetery back in 1948. It was only about 112 and a half acres, but today it expanded to 160 acres. It's a large crater. And also until December 1948, this area used to be known as Memorial Cemetery. Furthermore, it was temporary cemetery for those of them who died on Pearl Harbor attack or in the Pacific. On the first year as a memorial cemetery, there were 295 burials was done out here. But we don't have any proper burials anymore because we don't have any empty plot since August 1st, 1991. But these days we still have a war going on in the Middle East countries. Any of our soldiers who passed away on their duty, this is one of their final resting area because since we don't have an empty plot, they can only be cremated and placement on their monument behind the Columbia statue ahead of us. And we used to have a lot of white wooden cross. But in Hawaii we have massive termite problems and the maintenance costs are very, very high. But since January 1949, this area finally became National Memorial Cemetery. And our state government tried to get away from high maintenance and termites. They still remove all the white wooden cross. Instead, they put out the fronted stone. And it was last dedicated on late 1949. But now, when you look straight ahead, there's another memorial coming up, known as the Honolulu Memorial. But why there's another memorial cemetery inside the National Memorial Cemetery? Main difference is, in the National Memorial Cemetery, when your husband or wife or your parents serve in the United States Armed Forces and when they pass away, this is one of their final resting area. But when their immediate families pass away on their future years, they can also resting right next to their loving ones. But Honolulu Memorial is only for soldiers. Now, when you look over to your left and right hand side of the building, all those the walls are displayed. We known as 10 cords of missing on 5 on each side. Those walls are not only for decorations because there are more than 28,000 names are written on the wall of who were they were missing in action from the Korean War, Vietnam War, and the World War II. Also, when you look up to the center of the building, you can see the statue of Lady Columbia standing top of the Navy aircraft carrier, which is symbols of the strength of the naval fleet. On her left hand, she's holding Ronald Reagan, which is symbols of some of the Americans' victory at the sea. Other hands empty, which means peace. Also, when you're looking onto the bottom of the Columbia statue and top of the stairs, you can see there are some letters written on the wall. It says the solemn pride that must be yours have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. This is the letter wrote by Abraham Lincoln, dedicated to brave mother of 5. All their sons died on the Civil War. And also they have a Korean War Memorial and the Vietnam War Memorial behind the Columbia statue. And as soon as we come around to your front right corner area, this area known as 442nd Unit 100th World Regimental Group, also known as 1st American Japanese, went to during the World War II. And they were most highly decorated unit in World War II also. And they never lost a single battle once they were assigned to. But most of their survivors today, they don't want to be remembered as first American Japanese troops went during the World War II, but they just wanted to be remembered as simply known as Americans. Also, right after this second Chinese banyan tree on your right, on the ground on the center, you must see one familiar name. His name is Ernest Tyler Pryor, also known as Ernie Pryor. He was a World War I veteran, also become a famous World War II war correspondent. And they brought him up here with two unknown soldiers on the side to side of him. Also right after that, right in between the birds of paradise plants, you see another famous name on the ground. His name is Ellison Onizuka. Some of you might remember his name. He was a Hawaii's astronaut, originally born in Hilo, Hawaii. And he was a first American Japanese to become astronaut and become a member of Space Shuttle Challenger. But Challenger has been set things up on the sky, it blew up. But as soon as he became a member of Space Shuttle Challenger, our government was generous enough to stretching out one of our runways at the Honolulu International Airport for stretching out 2 miles long, just in case our Space Shuttle Challenger might end up emergency landing, but never happened to be usage of that way. But the dedication of Ellison Onizuka, the stretching out runway still remaining at the Honolulu International Airport. But now this is almost 116 acres of land. If any of your loving ones, friends, or relatives are resting here, if you're coming up here by yourself, first time in your lifetime, it's almost impossible where they are resting. Then you can just walk into the visitor center, which is very first building coming up on your front left. Once you walk into the office, you can just ask the ranger for the map. Map is showing divided by section to section. Each section is alphabetically ordered from left to right, and they can also take you to each section so that you can find your loving ones or friends within 15 minutes. Also, when you look straight ahead by our first gate coming up, but you see there is no gate, but you see two different sides of white stones standing left and right. The little white stone on the left is the symbols of our sons. Our sons are representing every single man and woman who serve our country. The larger white stone on your right is the symbols of the mother. Our mother is representing United States of America, which those two stones are symbols of our brave soldiers who fought for our country, who brought also peace. But they finally find the peace in our home country. That's why symbols of these two stones. And anybody know what kind of blossom on your right? Mostly pink, yellow, and white. This is our famous plumeria. It's a Singapore plumeria. It's the most popular flower to making the Hawaiian flower lace. And also when you look over to your far from right, you'll see another mountain range there known as the Diamond Head. Hawaiian people call Le'eahi. Le'e, which means the fins. Ahi, which means the tuna fish, which means the fins of tuna fish. Because anybody here ever seen the whole tuna fish before? Shapes of the big fin. The shapes of the diamond head view from here. That's how we get the name Le'eahi. Diamond Head, also extinct volcano crater, is one of our famous hiking courses from early morning to late afternoon. And most of the people takes about between 30 minutes to 45 minutes to reaching out to the lookout point. But everyone has to expect 271 stairs to climbing up. But once anyone reaching up there, they're falling in love because it has a spectacular view.